learn the lessons a different route. I still would have had to learn these lessons, but it may not have been alcohol and sobriety.
Right.
So the kind of the realization, the lessons themselves are non-negotiable. Like, you're here to learn certain lessons.
Yeah.
The route in which they're delivered is completely your choice and up to you, based off of it doesn't matter what you choose. You are going to be presented with the lesson in some way based off of the road you take.
Yeah.
Right. So earlier this morning, I posted that thing about, do you know what you want? A life unfulfilled that is sober is just as bad as a life that's drinking. So that stirred up a little bit of shit, but it got me to thinking is that all of your decisions should be based around what you want to accomplish, because no matter which path you choose, you are going to have to learn the lessons you're here to learn. So if you're making decisions based off of trying to avoid certain situations, you're still going to be presented with the adversity that you have to face. Whereas if you make decisions based off of what you want and what you want to go achieve, you're still going to be presented with the lessons around the adversity that you have to face. It might be two different, they're two different methods of delivering the lesson, but no matter what, you're going to have to learn that lesson. So why live your life based on trying to avoid situations when you just go out and decide, live your life the way that benefits you to achieve what you want to achieve? Too deep?
No, but I'm thinking but it could totally be there's like universal lessons, I would think, but then then there's probably I take my life over just not having done drugs. I mean, that sounds crazy, but just because of the resilience and the things and my experiences that came out of that in my life now. I'm gonna sneeze, but let's. Oh God. Rude.
So what I'm saying is what you learned and all the resiliency and everything. Gonna have to switch Wi-Fi again. I think when we get on here with 3 or 4 people, it's too much for my Wi-Fi. I live out in the country, but what I'm saying is the resiliency and all that stuff, you would have faced another situation had your life not gone the drugs and alcohol route. You would have faced some other adversity that you would have learned the lessons you learned, the resiliency and all that stuff.
Not in the same way, though.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Not necessarily in the same way. The lesson is non-negotiable. The delivery method of how you learn that lesson is totally based on your life choices.
So we all learn the same lessons, or you're saying that it's predetermined what lessons we're going to have to face?
This is where it gets a little spiritual. Yes, I think we come here with kind of. I think of it like a video game, almost like you decided, hey, my game this time around is to learn X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna put it on hard mode, and you jump into the game. You don't remember any of that, because then that would make the game easy.
True.
I got some explaining to do when I meet the me that made that decision. Anyway, if that's the case.
Wild.
No, I like that idea. I like the fact that you can go out and you can learn these things, and there's some ultimate goal. I like that. I want to believe that. I mean, that's my motto. Like, I'm Fox Mulder. I want to believe. Those that could be a possible, and that would make things make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
I mean, I think the reason that I have these rabbit holes worth of thoughts is because of the human nature of wanting to make everything make sense.
Yeah. So. I get that all the time from Miley. She's like, you just want to, you're looking for all these answers, and you're always searching for something. And, she's not being mean, but she's like, it just seems like you're running in circles. And it's like, well, I got to believe that at some point I'll break the circle and find a path, but I don't know.
Anyway, so you asked what was going on. That was it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like what Phil said. Was that what you were bringing up, Lindsay?
Yeah, I want to know what you guys think.
What was it?
Yeah, I
Contract.
totally relate.
Yeah, I think that's part of human nature. I mean,
I look back.
I don't do it though. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a big gap, like of and I guess I have been successful because I was moving up in companies, and then I lost everything, and then became a recovery coach, I guess. I don't know, but I'm further ahead than some people still, even with the decade of drinking that is missing from my life, where I was basically non-existent.
Exactly. I used to think I'm behind everybody because I would compare myself to people, and then I'm always comparing myself to people. It's like, I'm not doing that shit anymore because like I'm fucking awesome in my own right. And I know it.
Yep.
Right, Scotty?
Yeah.
Let's do a step 2.
I
do believe that he believes.
That's all you need to move on to the next step. Let us pray.
Oh, I gotta go.
I know. See ya. What do you mean? What contracts? What do you mean?
She's talking about soul contracts, I think.
Oh, okay. You're the legend, Phil.
Yeah. See, and then I like this. I like the reincarnation thing where you got to learn all these lessons to get to the higher level. But what the fuck are the levels? Like I have too many questions. Like I want to know more, and like we get in conversations like this, and then it's like next thing I know, it's 1:30 in the morning. I need to get up to go to work, and I'm listening to podcasts about reincarnation and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gets you in some rabbit holes, but it's all going back to source consciousness, I think. So, anyway.
You know what I believe?
I believe in what's the quote? A good rate of return.
Oh, love.
It's beautiful.
I do believe in love for all mankind and baby animals.
I agree, and I think we all three do. That's why we do this. Instead of just sitting back and regurgitating the same old, we try to open doors for people because we care and we love people.
Yeah, let's talk about our mission.
All right.
Our mission. Ooh.
What's our mission? We all have a very similar mission. That's kind of how we came to be. Don't be fucking rude, Scott.
What the fuck? I didn't even say a thing.
You are looking funny, and Adam.
I can't help how I look. Thank you very much. First of all. Second of all,
I was laughing at this.
I think.
Why is it so funny to me? Oh yeah, I know, me too. Oh my god, I'm gonna get fired or something from my life.
Yeah, you're going to the
pit.
What the hell?
You're going to the pit.
He does.
Yeah, I do.
Stand down, woman.
Mm-hmm.
We all do. But no, you know what? I feel like life is just
like a box of chocolates.
No, man. I feel like it's like a video game. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I'll go then. I'll go out and I'll stick my neck out on a limb.
Stick it out.
And this is hard for me to say because, but I'm going to give myself a compliment.
Okay.
So I think, when I started, my outlet before alcohol was baseball. And I played baseball for 13 years all the way through high school. And then that didn't pan out because of choices. And then I did something else for 13 years, and that was coach high school baseball. And I found that I had a knack of being able to communicate with the kids very well. I also had a way of calming down parents that couldn't understand why the kids sucks and they weren't playing. And that was supposed to be comical. I didn't really talk like that and think that, and I got a great story, inspirational story, if we have time at some point to tell about a kid that I coached. Anyway, so then I worked my way up through that from JV, and then I coached college baseball for a year and really enjoyed that. And I was able to connect with those kids. That was one of my big fears. Like, how am I going to relate to these kids? I've been coaching high schoolers. Now I'm coaching kids, that are 19, 20, 22 years old or whatever. Then alcohol took everything away. I was a safety guy. I learned to talk to all these dudes that didn't want to wear their gloves. They didn't want to, they didn't want to wear their hearing protection. They didn't want to wear their mask when they're breathing in dust and all these things. I learned to communicate with these guys. And I realized I think I'm a pretty decent communicator with people. And so now I'm a recovery coach. So it's kind of encompassing everything that I did, like the safety and the coaching is all mixed in one. So yes. I feel like I have gotten to where I'm supposed to be, and I just need to keep going. But that doubt, and I just told Lindsay and Adam this the other day, and DM that, I was ready to just quit doing the podcast altogether. I just lost all confidence in myself. Everything at work and in the inside was just starting to eat away at me. And I was like, there's no point. It's not, I get some nice comments. Well, I get a lot more than just a couple nice comments. I get DMs and I get comments and people saying, I really enjoyed this interview. I really enjoyed this. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. And the last guy that I interviewed, he said that when we went off air. He's like, just really keep doing what you're doing, dude. And I'm like, well, I can't believe you said that, because I didn't say anything about it while we're recording because I wanted this to be about you and your story. But this might have been my last one. But now you've said this, I've been looking for some sort of inspiration. Now I'm kind of rejuvenated again. So my mission is just to continue doing this however I can. The ultimate goal would be able to do more for people. Because I tweeted this today, an X, and I'm sitting in this office and it was a slow day and people weren't coming in, and most of the people come in, they're coming straight from the courthouse. It would be nice to be able to get out and be able to have a mobile unit of some sort. You know what I mean? Like the ice cream truck, playing some sort of music or whatever. Like, hey, look, it's the recovery truck or something. Oh, hey, look, it's a sober heathen. You know what I mean? I know that's ridiculous and that's not really what I want, but I would like to be able to go out in the communities and talk to people and be able to do more and help them find treatments that will work for them and, help them get insurance to get into treatment and do those type of things. That's what I want to do. That's my mission.
You will get it if that's what you
love it. I mean, you've kind of mirrored thoughts I've had myself just from a coaching background. So, I mean, strength and conditioning coach and personal trainer for years, doing the gym thing and connecting with people and being able to break down complex topics of whatever their goal is from the anatomy and physiology side and make them understand it and buy into it. And then funnily enough, I'm in safety as well. And having those exact same conversations and being able to get people to understand the whys behind what the rules are. And, you have to do this because, oh, okay, no one's ever explained the why to me before. You just do it or get fired,
Right.
And so I'm very similar. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be from a kind of gathering skills standpoint. Putting all these things together, and it'll be interesting to see what the next iteration goes. So, but my mission is from our little trio here. You guys work a lot more with people directly trying to get sober, and I feel like my calling is to help people who are newly sober or feeling disillusioned with sobriety understand that sobriety is not the end goal. Sobriety is just the state of being, and that from there you have life. And getting them to see that right now you got the plane parked in the hangar. Let's fly the damn thing.
Yeah, man, I love that.
That's kind of what I want to do. I think that's kind of where we're headed.
I have a few different ideas for what I want to do. And so I'm headed in this specific direction. I just know I'm going to finish up my schooling. Well, I'm going to go get my master's next, and I'm going to, I want to be probably I don't know if I want to be a mental health counselor or marriage and family therapist because of it relates well to addiction, like the family unit and everything, learning that and the effects. But I'm in this helper, that's what they call it, like a helper role. And I want to stay in that for my career. As far as like this stuff, I love this. And I mean, it's cool to do it on my free time. And I've had a lot more time lately because we don't have as many clients. So that's pretty cool. But I think my direction is like to build something to where there's more, something like what Scott said, but like in a different way, to where there's more, like people can get sober using less resources maybe, or like using just, well, I think we're kind of doing that now because a lot of people will talk to us on here getting sober and aren't going anywhere, or they start going to meetings, and you know what I mean? So I feel like it's that point, and like, I don't know, I just want to keep showing people that's possible, because it's like, if I don't do this with my life, like what was all that for?
Yeah, exactly.
What was it
for?
Those
lessons.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's what we talked about, getting through trauma and stuff. It's like, being able to turn whatever challenge or whatever that happened to you into a way to help someone else, I think is like the ultimate way to like recover. For me, that's what I have come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do and keep learning, and I'm like obsessed with my autistic, ADHD, hyperfocus. I'm going to learn about addiction. I swear to God, I'm going to develop my own program in a book.
In a book?
Hell yeah, bruh. Oh, that's cool.
That is awesome. So that's what I always wondered, like, how do you get into radio? Like, and then does anybody even listen to the radio anymore? Because hot damn, I would love to do a morning talk show, partially or mostly recovery related. I mean,
see you at Rich doing one. See, Rich used to be on like radio.
I know. Yeah, I know.
What's funny is I didn't even realize that's who I was messaging back and forth with, and then I finally he put something out there, and I put two and two together. I was like, holy shit! I used to listen to you.
Yeah, he's got a great voice too, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't remember his voice. I want him to start. Oh, he has done some interviews, hasn't he?
He just started, yeah.
Cool.
I have to look in that, yeah. Mobile detox, that's not a bad idea at all.
They have some of that like up in the areas like where it's really bad. They have like the units out there, like I think like in Portland, wherever, in Kensington, like wherever it's really, really bad, and they have like the mobile units to like Narcan and shit.
Well, so not really detox, just
no, not detox. Just like they have like and then I forget what else they do.
I read an article about, I think it was in Texas, maybe in Austin, about a young dude. I think he was a teenager, but he and his buddies got together. They all got Narcan. They just, at night, they just go out, walk around the streets, and help out.
That's a great idea.
Dangerous. Sounds dangerous, but
could be.
I want to do something with Narcan. Like, I don't know. I met someone, I don't remember who it was, that said they were working. Maybe it was the intervention, Darren Hobbs. I think they're working on doing something to get Narcan in all the classrooms. I think that was them.
Yeah.
In their county or something.
Check with your like local government, because Michigan has a program where you can sign up and you fill out the paperwork, and if you meet the criteria, they will send you Narcan to hand out.
Really?
We got like it's not a vending machine because it's free outside our building, and we keep that full with Narcan all the time.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, just from a parent standpoint, I think, it should just be part of the first aid kit now, because you don't really, even somebody who is not intentionally using a substance. I mean, just even from so when I teach CPR and first aid, the scenario that National Safety Council uses is, grandma who's sitting there doesn't really remember when she takes medicine. So, her daughter gives her medicine in the morning, and then husband comes by. He goes, "Oh, Mom, did you take your medicine? Here, let me give it to you." And so by the end of the day, after the grandkids have all done the same thing, she's had 4 sets of her meds, and she's getting all loopy and starts to OD. And so that's the reason why we teach it. But then I always, after that little video clip, would say, and if you've got kids, teenagers, you should have one in the house, because you never know, even if your kid is the spitting image of perfect behavior, you never know when they're going to be in a situation where somebody hands them something. They just, you're there. You have no clue. I know you're laughing, but
no, the comment.
He does this to me. I don't know why it's so funny. It just is really funny to me.
Distracting.
That's a great idea.
No, but I mean, the CPR thing, just to teach people how to do that is important. That laundry van that Phil was talking about, where they drive around and wash homeless people's clothing. I mean,
pretty cool.
Help people with resumes, or just fill out an application, haircuts, little things like that. I mean, just a chance, You
could. I wonder how. I mean, I bet it wouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, I like that. I think that a lot of people, younger and younger, need to learn what Narcan is so they could administer it. Because, you don't know how to. I mean, I know it's simple for us, but they need. I don't know. They have to understand what it even looks like. They don't even know what opiates are. Probably. It's a shame, but it's coming to that.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
More needs to be done.
So what else? This is very low key.
Yeah, my mind's over here spinning. How can I win the lottery more consistently?
Narcan.
There you go.
What is the
Naloxone spray? Naltrex. No, it's naloxone. Bupropion is.
Buprenorphine. Is that it?
It's naloxone.
Yeah, it's the naloxone. Yep.
Oh, so it takes it instantly. You put it in your nose or whatever, and it instantly makes all the opiate receptors clean of opiates. So you go into withdrawal right away. But the drugs are so strong, they're having to Narcan them multiple times now. And this trank bullshit on the street that's killing people with the crocodile shit. Remember crocodile too? It's on the their bodies are wasting away, and they're still doing it. It's crazy.
There's no real harmful effects to the Narcan, right? So
no,
they picked me up one time, and because of the I don't remember what medication I was on, and I don't know how quickly they did the test. So maybe they didn't even do a test, but anyway, they Narcaned me, and I was drunk. It didn't do anything. I was passed out drunk. That was the time by the time I got to the hospital and they took my blood alcohol content was 0.46.
That's fucking cool. You are so lucky to be alive.
Yeah, I can't believe you survived that.
Yeah.
Whew.
I am a firm believer that we survive for a reason.
Absolutely.
Don't even do it. Don't even start.
Absolutely.
You believe that I believe?
I believe that you believe, yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, with the Sinclair method.
Yeah, big difference between naltrexone and naloxone.
Yeah.
Big difference. Big difference.
You know what? I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be more focus too, because I think right now it's all or nothing in most treatment centers. So, and that's where a lot of people struggle. Like, I think harm reduction needs to get more of a voice out there. So, and I know that's a hot topic, but I've seen enough from the Sinclair method people, Katie from Thrive Recovery. I've seen enough testimonies from there that these people are doing it a different way and it's working for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I that's why I retweet everything she has, just because it's another option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't so far gone into and know what the result was, I would have considered the Sinclair method, and it might have saved me from a 0.46 blood alcohol content at one point.
I think had I gotten to the Sinclair method when I was only physically dependent on alcohol, it probably would have worked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about moderation management? Is this well, that's harm reduction ultimately, right?
Yeah.
We have clients that do that, and some can and some can't.
Yeah.
Look,
we talked about it last night. You're drugging and drinking for a reason, right? And there is some relief to that, to using it. So while you're working on it, while you're working and going to therapy, and I can't remember the Great Awake coach. He was on my podcast, and he talks a lot about harm reduction, like whittling it down. But you're also working on everything that's in here, and in here as you're doing it, trying to take care of those things as you're cutting back.
Yes. Yeah.
The narrative should be reversed. Former alcoholics should be a desirable attribute on resumes.
Fuck yeah.
What you guys probably agree with me too, though, is I don't like the sound of like former alcoholic or former addict. I don't know.
Yeah, but I like what he's saying, though. You know what I mean? Like I've been through this, and this, and now I've been this successful for this long. Like I'm winning.
Like I'm recovered.
Yeah, like I look at all this hard work. There ain't nothing harder. Well, there is, but one of the hardest things you can do is to beat a hard addiction to something, I think.
Absolutely. I agree.
The naltrexone can't hurt you, to my understanding, but I'm not a doctor. I would double check that.
Yeah, well, so I don't know if he means that he's scared to do it because of the medicine, or if he's scared to do it because he won't take the medicine and go back into old habits. Because that was my fear too. That's why I won't try it. Because it's like, it'd be really simple to be doing it for a week and like all of a sudden, hey, the dopamine hit's not there. Drinking kind of sucks. I just won't take my pills this time. I'll tell everybody that I'm taking them, and I'll just this one day. Well, okay, well, maybe this weekend. I'll just do it this weekend.
That's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
My dog.
I did it. I gummed the shit out of those things. Miley would sit and watch me take them, because when I was given to him, or given the naltrexone pills or whatever, and I was told differently than the Sinclair method, it was take these every day and it's going to numb everything.
Exactly.
And I would cheat those fuckers, but it was just really simple. there were a lot of pills between the mattresses, and Tucked to my pillowcase, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, it's gone.
Why does the bed feel lumpy? That's because you're a princess. There's a pea under there.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's fairy tale.
Oh.
Ever read Princess and the Pea?
Yeah. Right.
I just peed on a lot of things, so that's how I can relate to that.
Nice.
I shit my pants a lot.
I never did that.
You know I do. I tell you all the time. I think I told them
Still?
earlier.
Like yesterday, right?
I think I told them today. Oh wait, no, maybe yesterday I shit my pants. I don't know. It's one of those days sometimes.
Oh.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Oh.
Influence. Yeah, that's a big nuance thing. Like it depends, right? That doesn't always work to influence, but I don't think that it works to get someone to help themselves unless you do an intervention. But like, I don't.
The best thing that helped me were the stories, and that's why I started the podcast. Was the stories, but like the real like juicy like this is how bad I was and I made it, because when I would hear those stories when I was first starting out, it's like there's no hope for me.
Right.
There's no fucking hope for me. There's no way that I can do this. Well, in the beginning it was, well, at least I ain't that bad. And then I overshot that I ain't that bad into I'm way worse. And like now there's no hope. I'm 40 years old. I'm 38. I'm 39. There's no hope for me anymore. I don't have a home. I've never owned my own home. I don't have a savings account. Still don't, because I'm paying for everything that I fucked up before. But to hear people that have been that low before and now they're making it, yeah, I think you can influence and give them hope. But for them to want to make the changes, that's all on them. But you can give them hope.
I love that answer. I love that. That's the only thing that really gave me hope is when I would go to meetings or wherever and hear someone tell their story. That's why I told my story today. And that's why I tell a lot of like the really low things. So someone can see it's totally possible to come up from that. And you can do it too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it didn't really matter what people told me. Of course, most of the what I got a lot of was, I guess, kind of shaming, like trying to shame you into, why can't you just do it for your daughter? Why can't you do it for us? So yeah, I mean, that makes you feel like shit, makes you want to stop just so that you can stop feeling like shit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can give all the hope, but the desire has to come from the person.
Like, I've got one buddy who I went to the last rehab I went to. We connected and hung out a lot, and I still talk to him. And he's back and forth. He'll be sober for a few weeks, and he'll be drinking for 3 or 4 months. He'll be sober for a few weeks and drinking for 3 or 4 months, and he's kind of okay with that. He'll call me every now and then, and I can tell like he's not trash, but like he's drinking. And he's like, man, I really admire you, and you were able to stop. And it's like you can tell that there's a desire there. And the one thing that I do is I just tell him, like, he keeps telling me, I call you because I know you don't judge me. And I was like, Kevin, I'm never gonna judge you. Call me drunk or sober. I don't care. I love you either way. And it seems to make a difference in him for a little while, and then we don't talk. But I think just having that coming from a place of love, as love has no agenda. It's like, I'm gonna love you whether you're hopped up on pills, whether you just slammed a pint or not.
Yeah.
And hopefully that works. Hopefully something comes around and something clicks for them.
Yeah.
And just be ready when they're ready. Be ready. It's like, hey, I really want to do this time. Okay, let's go.
I don't think, I think just like everything we talk about, there's no cookie cutter way to do it. You know, I had a buddy that just passed away a while back. We were roommates at the last treatment. You know, we were really close. He was doing really good. He kept struggling, and then he relapsed. And I ended up talking to him, and I was like, "So you all right, man? I heard you were in the hospital. You okay?" "Yeah, I don't know what happened, dude. I have no idea. I just I was passed out, and I woke up, and I'm like, come on, man, for real." And then eventually he's like, "Yeah, I bought some shit, and I shot up, and I OD'd and got lucky." But I was going somewhere with this. I think, and this is one thing that I don't know, and I'm not dwelling on it, but I think there might have been, you know, I was doing the podcast and I was doing all these interviews. He was on the podcast, and I wonder if he kind of got afraid to reach out to me because I never thought that I was portraying myself as doing really well and, you know, making it uncomfortable. You know, like, I got 5,767 days sober today, and I've done the 12 steps 700 times. I never thought that like I was portraying myself in that way. But maybe he was just like, I don't want to bother him. And, you know, there's a part of me that wishes that, you know, I could know. But my whole point is, I don't believe that I did anything wrong. I know he loved me. I loved him like a brother, and he was just hurting, and he was trying. You know, he was doing so much. And I've talked about it before. You can go back and look at that, but it's really hard to tell what they're going to need to want to help themselves.
Yep.
Excellent point.
Agreed.
That's what's scary though. And then people say, "Oh, well, I guess you just haven't reached your rock bottom." And it disgusts me now that I've been in recovery longer and I've learned more and I've seen more and I've experienced more. That is a dangerous thing to say because we don't
imply you have another chance.
Yeah, I can decide when I'm done, and that's my rock bottom. I don't need to wait till things get really bad.
Yeah, well, I'll use my friend as an example again. This is a guy that put himself into treatment. He was there. He finished the treatment. He went into sober living, started to feel a certain way, paid out of pocket to go back living at sober living and for therapy, paid out of pocket for all of this stuff to continue because he didn't really want to keep doing what he was doing. But the situation in the system had created such a hole. He was at his bottom. He couldn't get out of the bottom. He hit granite. He couldn't dig any farther. He just also wasn't getting the, you know, help to see the light to climb out. That's part of the problem, dude. He was so buried.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that's you can get stuck in it. Like, well, yeah, I see all these people doing this, and this is a great message, and I wish I could do it. I just don't see how. Like, you can't see that first step, and then if you can't see the first step, you know, it's really hard to take it.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I can't remember who said it, but you know, you got the famous saying is, I think it's always attributed to Confucius or something, you know, but it's like a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And somebody said that, and I overheard the guy sitting behind me goes, "Yeah, but what if you don't know which way you're going?"
Right.
It's a good fucking point.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got?
I don't know. Scooby said he's cramping down his leg, and then he disappeared. So he must be taking care of that.
Hopefully, he's wiping it up.
He hasn't commented in a minute. Somebody need a wellness check on Scooby. Might have fallen in the toilet.
No, is he okay?
He's taking care of some.
Might be a little stinky.
Yeah. Fecal matter.
I wanna.
It depends.
What? Fecal matter? Gross. I want to talk about relapses again.
Again? We're gonna talk about relapses again? We're gonna relapse into relapse?
We always talk about it, don't we? But there's different people that, I mean, it's always good to hear the message that if you happen to pick up, don't keep going. It sounds very obvious and simple, but the shame that goes with it. And I know, Scott, you like to talk about this too, but just because counting days sometimes, and it can feel like the pressure of, you lose those days or whatever if you happen to relapse. You didn't lose those days. And please don't be scared to freaking ask for help, like they were just glad that I didn't die. And I was like going back into the meetings, like so angry because they were right. And I relapsed. And so I just want to say, just keep going. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you fuck up. Just get back up.
You keep telling people that they're going to relapse enough times, you're eventually going to hit the mark on some of them because we're addicts.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, I knew it. Sorry.
That was funny. I that voice. Do it again.
I'll probably get back to it on this topic, but I didn't count the days how you want to count them, but yeah, if you win a year and you had a bad weekend and you're like, fuck, that was a mistake, and now all of a sudden you're back, you got another month or a couple weeks behind you. You got a year and a couple weeks and a bad weekend. I mean, goddamn, I wish I could have had that there for a while. You know what I mean? A bad weekend. Like people would hold it against somebody like a daily drinker like me for many, many years. If I went a year where I only drank on the weekends, that would be a win.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like that'd be a huge win. And so I think we need to appreciate those moves a little more than, oh, look what you're doing. You're just going to go right back, or you're still doing it. You ain't ready. You ain't sober. You ain't this. You ain't that. Well, I'm improving. Am I not? Holy fuck. Daily drinker to the weekend drinker is a huge step.
It's our own people that do that too a lot of times in the community. And that's what sucks. Because we know how hard it was to get sober. And that shame doesn't help. Can't shame someone.
Yeah. It's so I always think about, every time I went back into a treatment center, they said, oh, well, let's do a relapse autopsy. Figure out why you relapsed. Mm-hmm. And you never really, I think it's a really good tool, and I think it should be used a lot. And I don't think enough people understand exactly what to do with those things. They're like, here, fill out this paper. Let's talk about your relapse and figure out why you started drinking. I'm like, because it was sunny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
goodness.
But if you have had time sober, and all of a sudden something happens and you do relapse or you go back to using, I mean, something came up that, in my way of thinking, something came up that triggered that need for comfort again. Mm-hmm. It's not like if you've got more than 30 days sobriety, what the science tells us is that your dopamine system is theoretically back in balance. Now, does that mean it's functioning properly? No, I don't think so. But theoretically, it's back in balance. So something came up that put the idea back into your mind that this would be a really good idea to do, and that this is the solution again. So that is, I talk about observing thoughts all the time. That is just an extreme form of observing thoughts, is go back. The action leads to a feeling, going down the chain, figure out what that feeling was, what thoughts caused those feelings, and where those thoughts come from. And that gets you back down to something that you didn't address the first time.
Yes. So, 100.
I went to my second treatment, and I was there for 60 days and did all the work. Had all these guys telling me, oh, dude, you're going to do great. You're going to do so awesome. And I got home, and 4 hours later, I was drunk. But I remember having the bottle in front of me and staring at it for quite some time. I'm like, do I really want to do this again? And I did it because I wanted to have fun. I just put in a bunch of work for 2 months, and I went away, and I felt like I'd made a lot of progress. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be like the old days. I'm going I'm going to drink and have some fun. Well, what happened was, because of the training that I got through all the AA meetings and the treatment, I did it, and it wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. And then the feeling of failure, you just gave away 2 months of treatment, and you just did this. So, well, fuck it. Because now you got to go tell everybody that you gave up your 2 months and you made the stupid choice. And if I would have felt welcome to go and talk about it with the people that I was talking to about it, I don't know what would have changed. I can't go back and say that. But I know for sure if I didn't have that guilt, I wouldn't have had the fuck it's necessarily. I might have kept going. I don't know. But I don't think I would have been like, well, fuck it. I already screwed it all up. So I'm just going to fucking go for it. And that feeling of letting all those people down and in that work that I thought I just gave up by a day of drinking led to the worst month of my life. In the hospital, once a week at least, waking up, having no idea how I got to the ER. That's with the blood alcohol content I was talking about earlier, the tube down my throat, my kidneys shutting down, all those things. And I'm not blaming that on them, everything on them. I put the bottle to my lips. I'm just saying there was a lot of added despair because I was told I needed to do it a certain way and I failed. And that was it. I failed. And I didn't fail if I could have stopped.
Amen, brother.
And to me, that highlights, because I had it not as an extreme an experience, but a very similar, almost word for word experience of coming right out of a treatment center, being told, hey, you're doing all this work, you're doing great. When I went back to the second one, they said, what are you most scared of? Is like, I know the answers that you want to hear.
Yes.
Right.
I'm telling you them. And so figuring out how to get around that block of digging down deep to find my pains and traumas, which I never did in a treatment center. I never was able to in a treatment center.
Me either.
Being able to get down to that. If you can't do that, the work doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You can do all the talking and the counseling and fill out all the worksheets and write your story 1,000 times and hike up a mountain, burn it, and say goodbye to whatever. But until you figure out where that block is that's not allowing you to access those emotions, you really just kind of bide in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you have to change your identity.
So, all right. So let me ask you this then, because you talked about, the treatment center. From my experience, I had groups and more groups. And then I got like a one-on-one for a half an hour, 45 minutes with my counselor in that 60 days, like 4 times.
Yeah. Once a week, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you ever discovering anything about yourself?
No.
When you're sitting in the groups and everybody gets like 5-10 minutes to share.
Yeah.
So I'm not, here we go again. Scott hates AA. Scott hates treatment centers. God, this guy doesn't like anything. No, we can do better. I think we can do better.
Oh my God.
Well, and the fact is, treatment centers are not there. The people that work in treatment centers are angels and they're there to help.
Yes.
When you realize why treatment centers exist, then you understand why they're ineffective.
Yeah.
They're there to make money.
Yeah. They have to.
Insurance will give them money.
Yes.
Right. And there's new stuff coming around. Why do you think I like working where I work? Because I actually believe in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not the traditional model, it's their own model. And I wish it existed when I was getting sober. But I think that people they're scared of new research. They're scared of, we all 3 read one of those books, right? Talking about it. What?
No.
What?
No, keep going. You're on. I'm just trying to calm myself.
What did you do?
He's passionate about the topic.
Yeah.
Trying to jump in.
No. Yes. Keep going.
No.
Please.
No. I forgot what I was saying now.
We've read the books. We've read the books about treatment centers and the way that they're going after
I don't know
things.
if I should go there
Okay.
Good. Why not?
because we're not allowed.
You're not allowed.
No, I'm trying to prove a point. Like it's like if you look at how things were started and actually learn about the programs and stuff, and you'll see exactly what we mean. And like why there needs more. What?
To the Minnesota model.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But Scott, you touched on that because like it's almost like if you do have something new, people don't want to hear it.
And you can't get funding for something new. You get funding for the standardized treatment.
Yep.
That's how these places get their funding. And so if you're not doing the standardized thing, which is groups and AA every single day and the 12-step model, you're not going to get, you're never going to get another look at it. And when you look at the best studies, and here we go again, Scott, the AA, the best studies out there show it's less than 10% success rate. That still means that it's helping 5 to 8% people. I'm not negating that. A lot of people swear by it. But we can do better than 5 to 8%. We can certainly do better than less than 10%. It's not working consistently. Yep. That's the problem. And it's been perverted from go through, just read the books. There's books out there that'll tell you that. I'm with Lindsay. Like, I just make myself look bad when I start saying this stuff because I turn so many people off. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to look at this with perspective and honesty. And when you have something that's less than 10%, we got to do better. We got to try something else. And I just don't see why we can't. Well, I do know why we can't. I just said it. Funding.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
What about what Brittany said on my thing? Remember what she said about, how did she word it? Fuck. Give me a minute. Yeah, she said it because it won't be effective. Go on.
Well, so if there's anybody out there that has, like a philanthropic arm of, their own personal finances that wants to start a treatment facility that actually might work, give us a call.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Talking to you, Elon.
So if you think about it, the way your public treatment facilities that are state run, they have to do 12 steps to get the funding. The ones that are private, if they take insurance, they have to do the 12 steps because the insurance is only going to do what the medical community says is effective. So they have to do 12 steps. So when you go in and you pony up your $3,000, $5,000, $8,000 copay, and then they start billing your insurance 30, 40 grand, you have to do all the, what are they called, Lindsay? All the case notes or the progress notes or whatever. So, hey,
yeah,
patient is progressing, hitting these treatment milestones. If you refuse to go to your classes, they kick you out because the insurance won't pay them because you're not doing what treatments are supposed to do based on the treatment program.
Yeah.
Your Wi-Fi was up. Is it me or you? It's not you, it's me.
I'll switch it.
So you guys know that I've been talking a lot to people in the ex-cult community, right? And it just like had me thinking more and more about groupthink and everything like that, and going back to thinking about that and how we talk about it. What did you do?
His face when he froze, his face was just like, it was hilarious. Sorry, it's a bad moment for me to cut in. I'm sorry.
You're terrible.
I am.
What was I saying? Oh, so it's got me thinking about that stuff. I mean, we talked about it before, but I think like what I want to do is really encourage people getting sober to, I know that we need to ask for help and listen, but I think we also need to use like critical thinking skills. And I know it's hard when you're coming in and like to figure out who to trust. Stop it and figure out who fucking me up, who to trust and everything. But I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. I
If it
just,
doesn't make sense and nobody can give you a legitimate, logical answer as to why you're doing the thing you're doing, maybe you should question why you're doing the thing you're doing and figure out something else.
good question. Look at what. No, I don't think so. But many people do.
Yeah, I don't think so anymore either, because I think the true root of the problem is not the addiction.
Right.
You know, the true root of the problem is the emotional issue.
Regulation, yeah, like all of it inside.
It's the feeling of not enough. It's the feeling that something is wrong and you need comfort, and the thing that you happen to find that brought you comfort also happens to be extremely physically addicting, from where we're talking about with drugs and alcohol. And so it just is two perfect storms that are colliding. Yeah. And
well said.
Yeah, I mean, you can ruin your family life and your kid's life by working too much, being addicted to work and making money.
Yeah,
you can be addicted to buying things, and it doesn't have the same stigma, but it's causing the same problems at home and with family and things, right? So those people can handle those things. So I totally agree with Lindsay and Adam on that. I think when it comes to addiction, though, I think I think, toot my own horn, my position horn, but recovery coaches are important to be there along for the ride too, because you do need to have that relatability.
Hold on. Yeah. Let's answer this first. Answer that first.
The recovered addict know that lesson more so than anyone else. I think the recovered addict would know the hardships and the struggles of the craving side of getting rid of the drug or the alcohol. But from the actual, and I'm going to go, actually recovering and solving the issue, getting to a point where you are recovered, cured. Okay. I don't think you necessarily have to be an addict. And I use the word cured with the caveat that you understand that whatever substance you are using is still physically addicting. You can't just say, hey, you know what? I've cured all this emotional trauma and baggage, and you know what? I'm going to go have a drink now. No, my dopamine system's still out of whack, or at least not functioning. I don't want to say out of whack, but it's going to latch on to whatever that substance is because it latched onto it the first time. Yeah. So all those circuits are still there waiting to be primed again.
Yeah.
So you can be cured in the sense that you never have to think about your drug or your alcohol or whatever it is you're trying to get rid of ever again. You'll only think of it in memories, and you go, oh, remember when I used to do that? Or hey, remember when we were camping and we had all this craziness and whatever. But you won't have the thoughts of, damn it, this was such a tough day, I wish I could have it any time.
Yeah.
Those thoughts don't come. That compulsion and that obsession is not there. And there are people out there in the rooms in the 12 steps that say that that's impossible to get to. I say they're full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the rooms and in the 12 steps that say that's totally possible to get to. So I think that's a difference. But.
Well, that's what I think is that if you're still thinking about drinking and drugging when you have significant time sober, maybe if it's consistent and it's not like something just didn't happen that you're maybe struggling and you're working through, I'm scared for them, and I don't see how you can sustain that because you're going to replace it with other behaviors or other addictions that you think, and then probably will end up going back to that because I cannot think about something, wanting to do it and hold off not doing it like that long. You know what I mean? I have to heal what's in me. And like what Adam said, that was perfect. Seeing what beliefs that we have and changing it and changing our identity. We have to do that or else we're going to be the same person that is going to keep picking up.
Yeah, exactly. That's why my motto has become more. I changed the way I thought about myself from, a former alcoholic in recovery to a non-drinker. And when I was able to finally realize like I had embodied that, it's like alcohol it does not affect me. It's neither positive nor negative. It's just another thing that I choose not to do because I'm a non-drinker. I don't have to worry about sobriety.
Beautiful.
You're welcome, Phil.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I like him.
Yeah, I like Gabor.
Go check out Guy Felicella's interview on my Facebook, my YouTube.
Is that how you say his name?
Yeah. Felicella.
I've been like saying Felicia or something.
Me too. When I talked to him when I was interviewing, I was like, how the frick do I say your name? But he was under the care of Dr. Gabor Mate, and I posted on the description like the videos of them together, like and now he's doing shit up in Canada, like helping in the same way.
Yeah, and The Realm of Hungry Ghosts is a good book. Thoroughly fucking depressing in parts, but
yeah,
it does a really good job of highlighting trauma and how it affects our lives. It was kind of my first eye-opening that childhood trauma is not necessarily what you think of stereotypically as childhood trauma. So,
yep.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, his work helped me realize something relatively recently.
What?
And I talked about it all the time, or not all the time, but I've talked about it quite a bit. Is my great grandmother who raised me always taught me when I was younger, when mom and dad wouldn't show up or I got sad, just don't think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't think about it. Go play with your toys. Go outside. Just don't think about it. So I learned at a very young age to not think about those sad feelings and ignore them.
Yeah.
And then I got to 21, and all of a sudden, alcohol did a really good job of not thinking about those things and doing that. So that's a form of trauma that I never really thought of before, and it was unintentional.
Oh yeah, same thing with me when I realized that kind of the underlying belief was it's okay as long as I don't get caught was allowing me to drink. Like it was great that I discovered that belief because that basically put a clamp on drinking because it's like, oh well, it's not okay. You know you can't do that, and so that changed that. And I didn't really care to find out where that belief came from. I mean, I knew that I had it and we discovered it and we were able to stop it, which was great. That's all I really cared about. But, it wasn't until talking with you guys 3 or 4 or 5 months ago now. And I kind of came to the conclusions. Like I grew up hearing since the time I could walk was it only takes one shit to erase 1,000 attaboys. So meaning you get told 1,000 times, hey, that was a really good job. You did a great job. You did a great job. You did a great job. You just fucked up. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
All gone.
And so that, I guess I internalized that from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up until adulthood. And like, So it makes sense that it's okay as long as you don't get caught when you grow up hearing, hey, it only takes one fuck up to wipe out every good thing you've ever done.
Right.
And, there was no malice behind hearing that. It's just, my dad's way of saying, hey, do your best in everything. If you, don't go out and do something that's going to be stupid. Don't be stupid is what he was trying to say. And
it's amazing, right? I remember when you realized that you're so funny. Like that was like the one time that you had the look on your face like I usually do where I'm like, what?
All right. Well, kids, I'm going to bow out. I'm going to have a little family time before bed, but thanks for having me.
Bye.
Good chat as usual.
Adios.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, amigo.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach that night. So when that was, I remember sitting on that little couch in that hotel room. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where, but it was like, you're like, I just thought of something. Well, and then, but when we've talked again, well, we've been talking about this stuff, and always something else comes up to where I realize how something from childhood, from development,
Yeah.
the young developmental stages, 2 to 7 or 8, right, to where it was most impactful. But growing up, to always think, if I'm upset, it's like, mom and dad are like, you have no reason to be upset. You have a great life. You go to Disney World where we have money. You have a roof over your head. You aren't allowed to be upset.
Yeah, exactly.
You are spoiled if you are upset, invalidating my experience. My feelings, sorry. But so I realized that, like, I thought that was normal and I would do it. But I always, like, my dad would say too, like, you're just full of drama. If I got upset about something, you need to not be vulnerable and weak, and you cannot show anybody ever that you're upset. They will take advantage of you. And hearing that over and over and over and over and over, I'm still unraveling that, aren't I? Like, I still do it all the time, to where I'm like, shit, man, I don't like emotions. I'm very good at stuffing them, even sober. It doesn't feel good. And look I cracked finally, but and that was accumulation of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And just
zero, from in the womb, your mother's hormones, and not just the gestational hormones, but all of her stress, all of her happiness, all of her joy is absorbed into the baby. I mean, that is already kind of pre-programming cells. If you believe that epigenetics is a real thing, which pretty much every scientist out there now acknowledges, from 0 to 7 is those programming years. And the Jesuits, the Catholic priests, have said for hundreds of years, I mean, going back 1500s, give me a child from 8 till age 7 and I will show you the man. It's like, show me the child from 0 to 7 and I will show you the man he will become. So it's just, it's amazing that stage of life is so important developmentally for how you're going to process everything else. And we give it so little, I don't want to say we give it so little attention, and nor are we careless about the health of a kid from 0 to 7, but very few people think about what they're saying to a child. Very few.
Or
and it's usually in those instances where the adult or the parent, basically their emotions are triggered. They get frustrated and they lash out. And it can be something really, really simple.
Yes.
It's like, stop playing with that. To a 4-year-old, that's fucking terrifying. Yeah. Because the 4-year-old only knows, like, I play with stuff.
Yeah, it threatens their security. And so that's why attachment theory is just like, when I discovered that, I was just blown away.
Well, I mean, that in order to survive, you have to depend on these people called parents. They feed you, they clothe you, they take care of you. And you obviously want to please them and make them happy, so they continue to do that.
Yeah.
And you realize that certain actions you do make them not happy, so you don't do those actions. When it could have been they had a bad day at work and blew up on you about playing with something, or running up to give daddy a hug when he came home from work, and he just ignored you because he had other things on his mind. But to you, that was the biggest thing in the world. And now all of a sudden you don't believe that you're worth love.
It is that impactful.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
But it's finding those.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you ever truly find them all. I mean, I think it's a constant life. I don't want to say struggle, but it's a constant awareness that your thoughts are generated by these types of situations that you've experienced in the past. And so when a thought comes up and you're like, what the fuck did that come from? It should trigger you to start digging a little bit. And that to me is shadow work.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? The brain is bringing up the solution that it, like, so I read something to where it's like something happens, and that's why, you know, it's like a trigger. Like your brain is like searching really quickly for when has this happened before? Because our brain uses shortcuts, right? I think we've talked about this before. And so it's always looking for a shortcut. So we give it the shortcut when we use drugs and alcohol too. But I think that we as like a society don't understand how much trauma affects everything from their whole life. Like what happens in that time or doesn't happen. I think Gabor Mate says that. He's like, it's not just what happened to you, it's what also didn't happen to you. Everything in my life, I can pinpoint it when I'm triggered. And what I mean by triggered is the appropriate it's like my affect didn't, it's like it was either overblown or underblown. You know what I mean? My reaction. And so, but then that's what I use that as tools. So when I'm triggered, I look at it and I go, I could trace it back. And I see, oh, that's because, you know, so-and-so said this. And then I did, like, I can trace it all back. I feel like I have to, or else I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Whew.
What you saying? Oh my God. You know that study with the Russian, I think it was the Russian babies that weren't held like during the war?
Yes.
And they like were fucked up, right? Like, so were they psychopaths?
A lot of them died. I mean, they just died.
They did. You need the action to live. Oh my God. Yeah, but I remember them saying like they were fucked up, like no empathy and stuff. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. I'm sorry, Lonnie. That's exactly.
So I guess my question would be, do you have this constant craving? You say for something, is it a constant craving for alcohol, or is it just like you just want something, you don't really care what the fuck it is? Because I have those a lot. And to me, it usually revolves around food. And it's usually when my body is out of whack from like electrolytes, you know, just not having enough sodium, just not enough salt. This is one of the, I hate using the word hack. Hack got co-opted by every social media influencer, but a hack or a tip for my weight loss clients in the past was when they were craving something sweet, where your brain processes basically where it processes sweet and salty are right next to each other, and it confuses salty for sweet. So usually it's saying, hey, we need some salt. You're a little low on electrolytes. So if you put just a little bit of salt on something, or just mix a little bit in water and you drink that, it gets rid of that craving for the sugar. So that's my personal experience. Now, if I were looking at that question from a more of a spiritual, philosophical standpoint, I would say that what you're craving is inward. You're craving an understanding of yourself, and we oftentimes have that feeling that we want something, we don't know what it is, but it's reassurance, it's comforting that inner child. Is bored or scared, not sure what's going on. So reaching down and doing that shadow work is where you find a lot of those answers. The best thing that I can tell you to do is to acknowledge, and you have to work at this because it's not something that comes naturally to us, but you have to acknowledge all of the shortcomings you have and love them for what they are. And that sounds really goofy to say, well, love all the shit you hate about yourself. But when you learn to stop hating yourself, even all the stuff that you don't like about yourself, and say, you know what, there's room enough here for everyone, everybody come to the table, all those feelings start to go away. So Peter Crone does a really good job of giving an example of this, where he says, hey, you know what? It's like a big dinner party. You know, we're going to invite everybody. You know, Happiness is going to get to come. He's a fun guy. Joy's coming. She's always so great. You know, we're going to excitement. I'm not sure what the meal is going to be, but excitement's coming. And then you get down the list and you're like, but I mean, do we have to bring anger? Because anger is going to come. Some shit's going to happen. You know, resentment. He just hates everybody. You know, jealousy is going to be there. That's going to start some shit as well. And then you realize, like, hey, everybody's coming to the table. And when they all come to the table and you acknowledge them all and say, you know what, you're all here. I'm glad you're here. Now tend to get along. Spirituality 101 from Shaggy.
I have something to add, but I'm making waffles. They're almost done.
I hope that helps, Lonnie. Yeah, self-acceptance is a easy, that one way to think about it. Self-acceptance, acceptance is all encompassing for a lot of different problems. You know, I talk about it from, you know, you accept that the sky's blue, you accept that this situation's happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to turn the other cheek. It's understanding who you are. And if I were designing a treatment facility, that would definitely be part of the curriculum, because none of us know who we are until we actually start to go down that path. To me, that's what spirituality really is. So it's learning who you are and why you're here. I think that religion can help with that, but I think religion is not necessarily spiritual.
That was beautiful, man. Every time you just get it.
I'm glad you like it.
Good stuff, Shag. I want to say, me personally, a lot of what he said, I second that. But I don't know if, Lonnie, if you've been in a lot of my streams to where I'll talk about that feeling of like a puzzle piece missing. There's something inside that, and I can't quite figure out what it is. And it's like, I'll try to, maybe I'll go shopping to feel better. Doesn't work. Maybe I didn't make Belgium right now. Okay. I made the Lego, my Egos, 72. I bought 72 of them. My whole freezer is freaking full. It's crazy, bro. That is so rude, Phil. Healthy dinner is not on the table tonight because Silas isn't here, and he's eating healthy. Well, you should eat healthy. You guys should eat healthy. You can have a waffle once in a while. Don't shame me. Don't shame me for my food problems. Anyway, so I'd be thinking like, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just fucking with you. I don't care. That's how I literally roast my friends, and that's how you know if I like you or not. The same thought I was talking shit to him earlier on Twitter. I was like, no, man, don't, Scooby, don't do it. So like, I feel like something's missing, and most people will say it's God, but I don't think that. I don't. I think it's something, maybe it's internal, which I guess maybe they're trying to say, maybe they're equating that with God. I don't know. But but I guess it's just simplified it, right? Or it's
Keep
I
going.
don't like that though. But so, and I've talked to you guys where I've been like, I just feel so low. I just like I don't know what I need. I think that's the key though. Find out what you need. What you need. What is it that you're yearning for?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's love. Sometimes it's connection. Like those are human needs, right? You know, sometimes it's I just need to take care of myself. I need sleep. It could be so many things. It's a void, and it's the opposite of content, in my opinion. And a lot of mine is filled with service work, which this is service work for me. But service work could be anything. you could open the door for someone. You know, when I'm out, I'm so kind, and like, I'm just, I don't know, like it just feels good, you know? Sometimes it is just waffles. Shit gets real. But
Blueberry waffles.
I was feeling like that for a while, and it's a little while, like in and out, and it's finally gone for now. So, you know, it's really like, I think sometimes when that happens, it's like something's missing. I'm not being aligned with I'm not connected. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so please, like, the thing that helped me most is like literally getting out a pen and paper and saying, what do I need right now?
And I think that illustrates exactly one of the reasons why everyone should seek to discover who they truly are. Because when you start to understand that, you can give yourself all those things that you need before they're depleted. You know, it just becomes part of your life, and you start firing on all cylinders, you know, instead of waiting. It's like, man, you know, today just sucks, and all you really want's a hug, but you have no idea that all you really want's a hug, and is to feel reassured, because you've never done the work to understand what the feeling of all I want is a hug and be reassured feels like. You never took time to go, oh, that's what that fucking is, you know? So, but I completely agree that a lot of people think that it is God, and I would counter that with, I think it is understanding of ourselves, and that if you want, religion can be one way to get there. But to go to Lonnie's question, not question but comment.
So absolutely.
Big problem. Part of my journey the last 18 months or so has been away from religion. Not necessarily maybe in the context of that sounds like, but when you start to understand where a lot of religions come from, you start to realize that what they're teaching is almost an exact opposition to what the person they are teaching taught. So most religions are about control and power as opposed to the actual spiritual aspects. So anyway,
I'll go too fast. Hey Lonnie, I could maybe see if someone could help you with that I've met a lot of people lately that have had to deprogram from, like, not, well, I guess it's a religion or a program, you know, like, I don't know what you would call it. Shut up, Stevie. But if that's more, we'll talk in private. You can message me and tell me if that's what you're talking about more, because I remember you mentioned it before. So, because that could definitely be a hindrance. A big one. Well, just like I always say, like, trauma too is such a hindrance for sobriety. And I don't believe that sobriety is realistically sustainable when it's just eating at us, because I think it keeps growing and growing and growing. That's just I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, but that is what I believe.
And so, I mean, I've said this multiple times, and I think why AA works for some people is because it, on the surface, it scratches a lot of those itches. You know, it kind of gives you some purpose. It allows you to understand a little bit more about yourself. But at the same time, I don't think it ever really like goes all the way. It never gets you to where you need to be. It doesn't address the emotional issues. It just addresses the effects of your emotional issues. You know, making the amends is addressing the effect of the emotional issue. You know, trying to figure out what your character defects are is addressing the effect of the emotional issue. And I don't care how much you ask God to remove them, what's actually happening is if you are being consciously aware of them all the time, you can start to act in opposition of them.
Yeah.
And hopefully over time, with enough repetition, you're reprogramming the subconscious not to automatically do it. But we've yet to go and address the cause of all of those effects.
100, bro. What I think, well, what we've both been saying is find out the why. If you want to find out why, I'll word it in my thing. If I'm trying to find out why I'm wanting to get high or drink, or in the beginning, this is how you can find your beliefs about alcohol or drugs, is ask yourself, get a notebook, pen, paper, whatevs, sit down and really think about this. Because on the surface, you're not going to see it, but really think about it. Why am I using drugs? Why do I want to use that? What is my purpose? What is my purpose for eating that food, or fucking somebody? I don't know. You know, like everybody has different addictions. I don't know. All an addiction is something that we do. What is it that brings us like relief or something? Just like negative consequences over and over.
Yep.
So it's obviously such a strong need that we are looking for inside, to where we would risk so many things externally to have that met inside, right? I really believe only strong internal needs. So what I did do is explore that. And it's not always going to be the same thing. But if you want to remove your triggers, I think that is a good way to start, because if you get to you pluck out the trigger, I guess that's how you would say it, right? The little trigger in there, then it's not going to come back. But you have to dissect that shit. So like his belief of, well, hold on, I'll get to that. So like for mine was when I thought about it, was like I wanted to belong. Shut up. I did drugs to feel love, connection. I didn't even know consciously that this is what it is, right? What else, Adam?
For you?
No, for you, both examples that many people do. Loneliness.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, I mean, the reason that I couldn't stop was the belief that as long as I didn't get caught, it was okay. I mean, that was the big one. I mean, the reason that I was drinking was that it was fun. Like I said last night, you know, it supercharged a lot of the attributes about myself that I liked. But towards the end, you know, I was realizing how much of my life had slipped by where I had been complacent and just kind of apathetic to my own life. And so that caused a lot of pain, and I would numb that pain, which just kept the cycle going. Yeah. And then sometimes I was drinking just to physically feel better because I had drank so much. So, I mean, it was a lot of that. But I mean, when I say that I drank to run away and to sedate, it was because I was sedating all the feelings that I had about not being where I thought I should be in life.
And how do you cure that? Well,
yeah.
Well, therapy.
Is one of them.
Yeah. There was another thing he said. And the only way to figure that out, and like you have to look at it and say, is this a rational belief? Does, like what Adam had to do probably is look at it and say, well, what do you say? It doesn't matter. It's okay as long as nobody finds out.
Right.
Is it really okay if nobody finds out? It is okay?
No, it's not.
Because
that was exactly what it was. I mean, that was exactly how the therapy session went. Because it's like once we discovered that, it was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. No, that's not true. They're irrational beliefs, or what do you call them? Not unhelpful. Distorted. I don't remember.
Limiting beliefs.
Yeah. Mine was that I thought alcohol. Well, a lot of times I used alcohol and drugs because I wanted to use it for social lubricant. I could not be, it's like freedom. I wasn't scared to be who I was, and I had that buffer, right? And so that's what I thought it was doing. But then when I sit here and I look at it and I say, was alcohol or drugs really making me the social butterfly that was just everybody's just like in my head? It's like the fucking Great Gatsby and shit. And it's not. Like, I always had this that's another problem. I saw it, so I romanticized it. And so even like it was like heroin chic, like a drug, like a rock star life. You know what I mean? Yeah, like just like all these things, and I'm like, that's not even real. Like nothing ever happened that way. I was not a good life of the party ever. I was obnoxious, disgusting. It didn't really help me communicate with others because I just didn't realize that I was slurring my words and acting like an asshole. I just didn't realize that like I was tricking myself, and we remember the good times and not the bad times. And a lot of things in life are like this, many forms of attachments, and to where it's like the brain doesn't see, we talk about this all the time, the brain doesn't remember memories very accurate at all. And it fills in a lot of gaps.
It makes up a lot of what you think you remember.
A shit ton. And that's why
even on the sober memories.
Oh yeah.
Sober memories, your brain, you don't remember nearly as much as you think you do.
No, hell no. I don't remember shit. I will space out. Oh wait, I did it earlier during this. I do. It's hard. Fuck. What was I saying?
I don't know. I'm getting tired.
I'm tired too. We'll end it in a minute. What was I even saying though, for real? Bixby? You're spacing out, aren't you? I was spacing out earlier when you guys were talking. I was tired. What I'm trying to say, man, is that you can do it if you put your back into it. Or is it your ass? You can do it, put your back into it. You can do it, put your ass into it.
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right, guys.
All right.
I'm not saying that one. I love you guys. Thank you for being the coolest peoples in the whole wide world. Love y'all. I'm getting tired.